All right, sorry guys, Mike was not on. Let me know if you can see it. Okay, so I already have a couple trades on. One of them's a Bitcoin trade. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to close out partial on these two trades because they did hit my profit target, the previous low.
All right,
and
sorry
I
guys,
needed
Mike
to close
was
them
not
out
on.
earlier,
Let me
but was
see.
too
Okay,
busy.
so
messing
I already
with the,
have a couple trades on.
One of them's a Bitcoin trade.
So,
I'll get to that in a minute.
I'm
going to close out
partial
to see if they push
on
back
these
down.
two trades because
I was up about
they
1,000
did
on
hit my profit
Nasdaq
target.
and the previous
like 8 or
low.
9
And
Sorry,
I
guys,
needed to
Mike
close
was
them
not
out
on.
earlier. So I am going to close out
So I already
partial on them.
have a couple trades on.
We got 600
One of them's
blocks
a Bitcoin
here
trade. I'll get to that
so
in a minute.
far.
I'm going to close out
partial
to see if they push
on
back
30
down.
contracts
Because,
of this trade.
They did hit my profit
Nasdaq
and the
I'm
previous
like
low.
Sorry,
I
guys,
needed to close them out earlier.
So I am going to close out
So I already
partial on them.
have a couple trades on.
We got 600
One of
blocks
them's a Bitcoin
here.
trade. I'll
Don't
get to
so
that in a
far.
minute. I'm going to close out partial
close out
to see if they push back
30
down.
contracts of this trade.
They did hit my profit
Nasdaq
and the
I'm
previous
like
low.
Sorry,
I needed to close them out.
doesn't look
So I am
like
going to
30
close out
so I already
partial
set
on
up
them.
back up about
We got
950.
600 blocks
I'm
here.
going to hit don't so far 30
I'm
again.
going to close out
And
partial
go
to see
down
if they push
to
back
30
down.
contracts of this trade.
They did hit my profit
Nasdaq
and the
I'm
previous
like
low.
Sorry,
I needed to close them out.
doesn't look
So I am
like
going to
30
close out
so I already
partial
set
on
up
them.
back up about
We got
950.
600
I haven't
blocks
closed
here.
any of the
Don't so
Bitcoin
far.
trade
I'm
yet.
going to close out partial to see if they push back
30
down.
contracts of this trade.
They did hit my profit Nasdaq and the previous low. I needed to close them out. So I am going to close out partial.
And then of course I need to change my orders. I haven't closed any of the
Don't
I really don't like moving the stops until we get a push or break of the low in this case, as things are moving short. So I'll move my stop to a halfway to break even. Of course I need to change, such as that right there on ES. I really don't like moving it aggressive to break even until we get a push until I get a break of a low. And that's what I'm waiting on here. Short. I'd want to see this low here to break. I'll move my stop to a halfway to break even. If ES can break past that low, then at that point, I would move my stop to break even. So right now I've moved my stop about halfway to break even. So I'd want to see this low here. So we locked in on ES.
I'll move my stop to a halfway.
NQ was 345. ES can break past that low, then at that point, I would move my stop to break even. So right now I've moved my stop about halfway to break even. So we locked in 750 on ES, moved the stop about halfway. NQ, I'm not really ES can break past that low. So on NQ, my stop is kind of in a danger zone. So right now I've moved my stop about halfway. So we locked in 750 on ES. So overall, had nothing but sell signals since early this morning around 6 o'clock. My stop same over here with ES had nothing but sell signals. So hoping the market will continue to push those down. Overall, so far we're looking at nothing but sell signals continuing. So there, we've had NQ just break its low. 6 o'clock. So since NQ's broken its low, so one thing I need to do is hoping the market will continue to push those down. Overall, so far we're looking at nothing but sell signals 10 orders. So there, we've had NQ just and then break its low. 6 o'clock. Some lag here. So since NQ, and then what I'd like to do is move my stop. One thing I need to do is hoping the market NQ down some. So we're up 750 on that. 10 orders. So there, we've had NQ just on NQ is get ready to close half. So put 40 contracts on. What I'd like to do is on this account. That's what I'm typically trading with is 20 to 40 contracts. What I'm going to do is 750 on that even on NQ. So again, looking to trade 20 to 40 contracts on this account. So put 40 on both those trades. They popped enough I could close partial, captured partial on them, and then now we've moved the stop to break even with this push off of again, market open. Trade 20 to 40 contracts. We're seeing a good push down. So that's why I like to get in before market open. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So if we can get in before the U.S. stock market opens, great. And if we can close partial before it opens, that's even better. Right now, on ES, I'm still waiting on it to close past this low. So that's why I like to get in. It hasn't closed past the low. So it's having problems getting past that low before the U.S. stock NQ has broken. They typically are in sync. So yes, they're both pushing down. Nice Larry candles. We could close out part of our trade on both if we'd like. So it hasn't to set these to 5. So I would look to close out half the order that low. So what I want to do on ES is I am going to close out half of this trade down nice Larry 200. We could close out half. A lot of times I get talking before I actually close out. I need to set item to 5. So I would look to close out half. Sometimes I get back a lot. What I want to do on ES is I am going to close out. Kind of explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing before I do it. We could close out half. A lot of times and I'm okay talking before so I just changed the stop order match. 5 contracts. We just closed out 5 when it pushed that low because it's having a problem breaking it. Now with NQ, of course, explaining why I'm doing. We've taken that before I do it, and we've already pushed to better break even on it. So I just changed the stop order match. Set up 5 contracts. We just closed out 5 when it pushed that low because it's having a problem breaking it. Now with NQ, of course, explaining why I'm doing. So I've adjusted it down. I'm down on a 1-minute chart, but I still have the indicator set up on the higher. Just changed the stop order match on the back. I'm not on scalp mode. The last few days I've been in scalp mode, scalping market in and out. So right now I'm taking day trades. So I've adjusted it down. I'm down. So ES, I'm completely fine if it goes back and takes me out. It's got a couple highs in here, and it's actually got a low that was from over here to the left that I was waiting to break earlier. So right now that low right there, that first low. So I've adjusted it down here. Not anything else, not in platinum fine. I was as it pulled down and pulled back. I was got a couple highs short here, did not. And it's actually got a low. I would actually be waiting on a break and test of this low right here. So right now that low right there, that first low. If it breaks and tests that, I would not anything else, not in platinum fine. I was as it pulled down and pulled back. It's got a couple highs short here, did not. So there's our break. I would actually be waiting on a break and test of this. So overall, good on the day right now. Platinum again is breaking. I would test that, pull back, not anything else, not in platinum low. I'm already down on a 1 minute. Pulled down and pulled back. I won't go lower than 1 unless I'm scalping. So I would actually be waiting on a break and test of this. So overall, good on the day right now. Platinum again is breaking. You guys still have an echo? I just noticed someone mentioned that low. My mic is off. 1 minute. I won't go lower than 1 unless I'm scalping. So I would actually be waiting on a break and test of this. So overall, good on the day right now. Platinum again. Let me check. Do you guys still have an echo? Right. Let me know. Is that better? Do you guys still have an echo? Testing 1, 2. Okay, guys, let me know if that's an echo. Should be off. My son was down here messing with my computer, and let me know if that's better. Okay, sorry about that. My son had like 3 different mics on. I knew he was on here because I had my security. I have a camera connected to this that he doesn't know about. And he got on my computer, and I said, "What were you doing on my computer?" "Nothing. I wasn't on your computer." I sent him a screenshot. I'm like, "Well, who's this?" He's like, "Where'd you get that?" All right, so ES finally broke the low. So since ES finally broke its low, I'm going to move my stop down. I've already closed out enough right now. At the next phase, we'd look to close maybe 3 on ES. So I'll set that up. I can close out 5 on NQ. So NQ, I'm going to just bump my stop down. So we're up 2100 on NQ, 2200. So we've got 5 in the hole. Let's go ahead and close out 5. Okay. If it'll take. I don't want to hit it again yet till I verify and see if it's closed. No, because if I do, I'm afraid it'll close the whole order. Let's try this again. There. So I've closed out 5 on NQ. I'll go look in and see what we've locked in on all of it as it's pushing. So again, on a 1 minute chart on there, so I can find some highs and lows. We really don't have anything on these right now as they push to trail. Okay, there's no swings, there's no pullbacks. So I've already locked in great money on the day. So I have to decide how tight I want to trail these. There's no pullbacks right now. So I can either leave these go and leave my stops, and I'll let you guys decide. If you guys have some suggestions, I'm fine with that. I love doing that, playing around with my trades, already locked in what I want. I'm safe on these trades. Okay, I'm safe on ES, safe on NQ, really safe on Bitcoin. So how would you guys like me to manage the trades? I can leave them now where they are, okay? Because as we look at ES right here in the middle, we have a definite low, okay, that's set. This low right here, that was our low to break. It tapped it a couple times, tapped it here, pulled back, gave another, gave a couple sell signals, tapped it, pulled back, did not pull back and break this high though. And then even here, tapped it again, pulled back, and then finally broke through with the start of the U.S. session. So the New York Open. Right now, it's tapping a 4-hour zone. These zones that are popping up right now, the yellow zones, the pink zones, and green zones, those are off my 4-hour time frames. Okay, so that's what we're hitting now. So that is a 4-hour zone. You can call it what you want, 4-hour supply and demand zone, 4-hour support and resistance zone. It's basically, that is marking a 4-hour candle wick. Typically, it's going to be a wick move on a 4-hour time frame where we've had a swing down and back up, or a swing up and back down. On the 4-hour time frame, I mark those with the zones because they're very strong areas. Okay, sometimes they'll plow through them, but not always. They don't go down easily. So that's what we're hitting right now. So, I'm all for whatever you guys want to do. I can manage this however I want. Right now, my stop is safe. Okay, my stop, I consider it to be safe on ES because we have a low here. Finally, held up here and it finally broke. I full well know that this could pull back and test that low, the one that's labeled low to break here, those lows. It could pull back and test those, even peek through. So at this point in my trade, I have to decide, how do I want to manage the rest of these runners? Okay, we were in with 30, or in with 40, closed out 30. 3/4 of the trade I like to close out. If I go in with 10, I close out 8, to close out 80% and leave 20 on. See, there's our sell signal finally on platinum. Now, I'm still going to wait for it. I'd like to see a candle, close bearish, and then it pull back and test that low. It's not really strong right now, that break. So it's a strong candle, strong move, but I'm kind of waiting to see. So back to ES, I have to decide, am I going to leave my stop where it is, or do I want to move my stop down some, and pick a high? I think I've got these labeled in here. I think I got a stop marker. There we go. Do I want to move my stop, down to a level down in here? Not going to try and get it perfect. But do I want to trail my stop off of candles at this point? Okay. And that's the only way I could trail tight because there's really no swing moves. Now I can adjust the indicator and go back to where I see candles, because I see these, 3 red candles down here. Well, this is going to be a green candle. It opened here and then closed up here. So that candle is green. If I switch the indicator back over to where it's not using the 1 hour time frame, and I have the 3 bars on the bottom. So see, that's a pullback candle. And you guys let me know how you like seeing this as I trade. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm looking for more just the buy and sell signals that come up as well as the bounces. So I don't really care if I look at candles and the 3 markers on the bottom, the 15-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour time frames, and monitoring that way versus having the candles colored. And all that means is if the candles are colored red and green, it's off the first time frame. So it doesn't really matter to me. It's up to you guys how you want to watch them. So basically I have to decide, am I going to, how aggressive are you going to manage your stop? Really aggressive management means, of course, you're going to get stopped out, and it may continue on. So you may get stopped out and miss part of the move, the continuation move, but you're going to capture more profit on that move down, okay, this push down. So if I was managing my stop aggressively and using the previous candle, I'd, like this, and as it pushes, use that previous candle's high, okay? So like I would have had my stop, right here. After this candle formed, closed, then I'd move my stop down to the current candle. After this push down here, this candle closes. Once that candle closes, then you would move your stop down above that one, okay? Then we had a red candle here push. Well, you're already almost right there. You would have moved it a little, not much. But then this candle here that closed, if you would have moved your stop and been moving it off each candle as it went, well, then you would have put it there and been stopped out. So some people are stopped out there. Great trade. And then they're waiting on a pullback to get back in. By leaving my stop out where it is, okay, above these highs, I'm just writing that out, and I'm okay with that. If it pulls back, if it happens to pull back and give me a bounce up in here, I can get back in. I can get on with another trade, but I'm still in and not missing anything, okay? Now, I like to use high and lows and breaks. So what I'm more waiting for is what's happening right now, okay? So it just broke this low. Okay, anytime it comes down, makes a high and low, you're marking them. In this case, since it's moving short, we're looking for those lows. As it comes down and makes a low, and then pulls back, okay? Once it starts pulling back, we mark that low, and we're looking for a continuation move. It needs to break and close below that level, and then we can move our stop. So that's where I'm looking to move my stop, is here, not so aggressive. Let me lock this chart to where it's, so we just had a candle close. So I want to go ahead and, move that stop on ES, and then we'll look at NQ as well. So let's move our stop to that stop point. I'll move it a little bit back from it so I can move that stop point. So that's where we want our order to sit, and then we would want to get ready to move our stop down from there. Gonna mess something up here in a minute if I'm not careful. So that's what we're using for our stop. So again, now we're looking for a pullback and pullback and bounce. Give us another high, we can adjust our stop. So let's go over to NQ. I can click on one of these. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it this way. taking off the change there. So I'm up like 11K right now. I know I don't have the total showing. I got that Bitcoin trade on. We'll look at that in a little bit because I need to consider moving my stop. So now on NQ, we definitely have a low in here, right? That was broken right there. So that was our low right here. Always marking the lows and highs, the lows to break, the highs to break. We're always looking for it. Once it breaks that level and closes past that level, then we're looking to move our stop. So again, since it pulled down and closed under that low, it should be back here, under that low right there, well, then we would look to move our stop above the high. Okay. I think you can copy these. Did any of you guys use the hotkeys? There's some good hotkeys in here to use. I'm going to do little quick videos on them, but there's like one I like to use, especially when I'm scalping, is Alt-T is for trend line, and then Alt-J is for lows and highs. So like if I put my cursor on NQ right at this candle low right here, and I come in and hit Alt-J, it plops a line there. Should. I guess I got to tick on that chart. So again, put your cursor there, Alt-J. It should plop a line there. Now it's not working. Oh, I'm not hitting the right button. I guess it'd help if I hit Alt-J instead of Control-J. There we go. So it plops a line right there. So real quick, you can do it without going and grabbing the tool. And then you do have to go in and, of course, change it. So this is an old low here, so I need to take that one off. That was from a previous move. We have a new low to break on NQ. Now, if I move my stop on this, it's going to be pretty aggressive. But by using the Alt-J, Alt-T, it is a quick way to drop a line on the chart without having to come down to your tool and grab it that way. So always looking for the lows and highs. If I want to get aggressive with these two stops, and on the Nasdaq, I need to move it. I'm looking to move my stop on Nasdaq, possibly down in here. However, I would need it to pull back and bounce. So for right now, I have to go with where it was and move it down there. So move Nasdaq again above these two highs right here. So I'm going to give some back on the move if it continues. We have a buy on gas. I'm going to go in light with 20 on it. And we're going to do a tight stop on the current low. I haven't been keeping up with gas this morning, but it's been moving nice, and I am not in gold right now. So we'd be looking for this level as our high to break right here on gas. So not looking to move our stop till these highs and lows are getting broken. So we're getting good pullbacks on. Now, if I wanted to move my stop aggressive on ES and Nasdaq, I'm pulling it down in here. So right now, I'm choosing to leave mine out some. I'm hoping that those levels hold and they continue to trend throughout the day. I don't have any trend lines drawn on these. As of yet, we can go out and look. A couple trend lines I would draw is, and I'm going to try not to stay out here too long on the big chart, is that would be our trade line down. And then we would have a more aggressive one. We would have a one right here as well. And then we would have a more aggressive one on the move down from there to there. So that's what we're looking at holding up right here. Is we'd have these three trade lines drawn. And we know that that more aggressive one is not going to hold up over time. It's going to break this at some point and pull back to those other lines. It's going to break this, and it could pull back up to the top of this 4-hour zone. So that's our 4-hour zone. So we're looking to see what it does here. I would love to see it, you know, more of a continuation here and get a bounce and, of course, break through, test this, and move on. However, it may not do that. You know, it could totally break through here. It could test and run down the back side, you know, and then even do that or break it. There's several things it could do. So you have to plan for all this. It could come up and test that, pull down and make a higher low and break that. Okay. So those are kind of the three scenarios you have to prepare for. We don't know which one it's going to do. It's going to do one of those few things. It could bounce around sideways the rest of the day. And the same thing with, of course, ES. I'll leave the lines on there. Let me see what it kind of looks like to you guys. Need to shrink this other chart here. I did pop out the right chart, I believe. Oh, I know what happened. Let's try this again here. Well, that's not working for some reason. We'll get it working later. That little chat tool is not working. Somebody if somebody wants to pop something in the chat. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's get back to the stream before they all turn. We know at some point we're going to get things to turn. So what we're doing is just managing. So right now we don't really have anything on gas. So again, I took the buy, which I took a buy signal. Okay, everything's been, thanks Candace. Everything's been, I've moved some stuff around. I don't know if I'll leave that ticker down there or not. Because I like having the, you guys let me know. I mean, I'm kind of building this for you guys. Let me know if you'd rather see the stream or the, I'm not sure which one this is under. I have to remember that is not the right one. Let's see. I don't want to mess with this stuff too long if it's not going to come up. Oh, there it was. Yeah, it popped up for a second. So there's where the unrealized profit is right now. So it's up to you guys if you'd rather see that in the time of the stream. Normally, I just pop a 3-hour timer on the stream. So there's our unrealized profit right now, which we're sitting with, what, about 900 on ES, and Nasdaq, we got about $2,000 sitting. So since it's pushed to this low and it looks like it's pushing through, I'm choosing to move my stop. Now I'm up $2,000 on Nasdaq. these are on 5 runners, okay? So again, I put on 40, closed out 30, then closed out 5, and then now if I want to close out any more, it's, 3 of the 5. So we could come up and pop this to 3. I don't know if it's going to break now and keep running or not, but right now it's at that low. So it's sitting there pushing and pushing and pushing, and now we're seeing a pullback. So I need to take advantage of that. I'm up $2,000. If I close 3, I'm locking in part of that trade. If it'll close, come on. Let me hit it again and hope it doesn't close out the whole thing. So there, I just closed off 3 more, and I'll go out and look and see here in a little bit what we've locked in. I need to make sure to manage my stops first before we go back and look and see the damage we've done. So closed out 3 of the 5. Now the same with ES. We're up about almost 1,000 on ES. I've got 3 tucked in the hole to close up there. So I'm ready to close. So see, we're getting a push through on Nasdaq. You have to be okay with the profits you've locked in and closed. Okay? I cannot sit there and say, a bummer. And I'm not going to kick myself the rest of the day. You have to be really professional about your trading. And I used to do it. Don't get me wrong. When I started, I used to kick myself because I just closed out, 3 of the 5 contracts on Nasdaq, and it was up $2,000. Never kick yourself for locking in profit. Never, ever, ever, ever kick yourself for locking in profit. That is your day job. That's what we're here to do. We are here to make money. We're here to lock in profit. Do not kick yourself for locking in profit. Now, you can make adjustments and say, how could I manage this better? Well, the only way is to move the stop. Remember, I could have moved the stop down here instead of closing out partial. I chose to close partial here. I've seen thousands of times where something's moved down like this, tested that low, and not broken it. And then it's pulled back and turned. We had a reversal and wished I would have closed out some. So that being said, I've made that adjustment where if I see an instrument having issues breaking a low, hitting it several times, I don't want to be in these, as I take a day trade, I need to lock in X amount per day. Okay, on this account, it's 5K. On the one I was trading in last week, it's 500 a day. On this account, it's 5K a day. So a bigger account, I'm looking for more returns. So that being said, I need to do my job, which is to lock in profit. I hope that makes sense. So we've had a push. Now they're testing. So we've had that push through, and now they're testing. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these option markers. I don't know what else we'll call them here, of what it could do. So see, instead of either of the other 2, it actually broke through the low and didn't do it right here where I drew it in, but it broke through the low, came back and tested the low, and then pushed on. So that's what we were wanting. That's what we wanted to see. Remember, I drew 3. We wanted to see it break the low, come back and test the low, and give us an extension or push. It did not do the other 2, which were these, the other 2 options, which we're fine with that. It actually did what we would love for it to do. So at this point, it's actually trying to break the low right here is the one that it's trying to break. All right. And then we actually, right now it's pushing through, so we'll see what happens. So that's our new low to break. And then we could draw the same one here. So I think they're both going to push back, pull back. So we'll see. But now we can look to move our stops on both of these. Okay. So we have a stop marked on Nasdaq here. Up here, do we want to move it there or get aggressive? I can get aggressive and move it about midway, hoping that the low that it just broke will actually hold up. So that's going to be a more aggressive stop. I may get stopped out of that pretty quickly as it's only 10 o'clock. There's our push on platinum. I'm still not in. I wish I would have taken it. I didn't. See how it hesitated to break this line? It just hesitated to break the line. Everything kept saying sell, sell. I didn't take the sell, and gave me one last chance to take a sell and didn't. And there's our push. So if I did get into platinum, of course, I would want to close out. I had 6 on. I would close out 4. I'm not in it and not going to chase it. Therefore, need to wait for a pullback. So again, aggressive stop on ES would be there. We're up 1,000 on ES. So I can choose to just move my stop, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the 5 contracts on and just move my stop. I'm not going to close out the 3 on ES. And as you look, we're about even on the ES and Nasdaq trade. They're both up about 1K on them. So there's a pullback on. Let's do this. On platinum, I'm going to sync my charts up. So there, we're starting to get the pullback. So that's what I'm going to look for, is a pullback and bounce. The only way we'll get a signal to sell is if this top one goes back green, which we're probably not going to get. So I'm looking for a pullback and turn bounce on platinum. And then I don't know if I want to take mark your low, mark your high. I'm not going to label them real quick because I'm busy watching the others. So that's going to be your high and your low. So I want to see what happens in there. Are we actually going to get a bounce? Not really doing anything with old Henry Hub over here. Old Nat Gas. It's not doing anything. Can you guys see that behind my head? Yeah, let me I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch my trade markers to the left. There we go, on gas, to get them kind of out of the way so you can see the chart. That way you can see the candles and they're not tucked behind my head. I know we haven't looked at Bitcoin yet. We will here in a minute. So we have our lows to break, highs to break. As you see on Nasdaq, it's really having an issue with that price. I'd go ahead and stretch it down to this wick now. We're going to just move that down since it's pulled back off that nicely. And it has broken our downtrend line. Okay, I can move it out a little bit because we have a couple wicks that actually, like this wick kind of went through. But ultimately, right now, it has broken one of our downtrend lines, our more aggressive one. So it may pull back deeper, is what that means, okay? Didn't really draw them out here. I like to draw them when you see things switch to red. Everything starts switching to red. You start getting sells. Then you're going to come in and draw your down trade lines, okay? Here's the two that are more important. It's going to be this one. And then, of course, this one here, which is the same. I'm going to look at drawing one here to here and see what that looks like. Yeah, see that right there is actually a valid trade line. We have two high points, point A, point B. It pulled back to test it here, so that's actually a valid trade line. As it went down, we could have had a more aggressive one, which is broken already. You know, that one. So I don't want to draw that and leave that on the chart because that's going to probably get in the way of my decision making. So it's okay to get rid of that one. Ultimately, if it breaks this down trade line here, it could go back to the higher one. Okay. So mark that and then make sure to mark your highs and lows always. That's going to be our low to break. We already have our old low to break. And it's hard to keep up with this sometimes with all these pairs because this was our old low to break. It broke it, and it becomes our high to break, which I didn't mark. So right now, I could get stopped out. We have to see what happens here. Is it going to bounce here? Is it going to close here? My stop's kind of tight because as you look at the candles right here, instead of that wick, if you look at the candle body, since we are on a 1 minute time frame, it is okay to not include the wicks on a 1 minute time frame. 1 minute and less. But if you go up to a 3 minute, I always use the wicks. Except for news. If there's volatile news that comes out, sometimes I'll skip that candle altogether because the news will wreck your technical analysis. Okay, so right now we're looking to see, are we going to get a turn and bounce here? So if I was looking to add to my position to get in, these bounces, these pullbacks are where you want to get in and add to your position when it pulls back and breaks. So we would draw a counter trend line. Okay, counter trend line up. That could be our new trend line. So these retracement lines, if it breaks through like it is right now, that could become our new trend line on the other side. What does that mean for us? As it's broken this trend down trade line here. So I'm probably going to get wicked out because I got my stop. As you could see, I about got taken out by that wick of that candle. So it may take me out and then continue short. But this new retracement line here, this retracement line up, since it's broken this trade line, it may retrace all the way back. So we may be due for a deeper retracement. And if it doesn't bounce up there, it could go all the way and just become a new trend. So that being said, with the indicators red at the bottom, okay, the 1 hour and 4 hour still red, I would still be looking to short. That's placing the odds in my favor to short. So I'd be looking to short and holding short. Okay, so if I get stopped out, I'm okay with that. But ultimately, if I trade that on ES and NQ, if I trade these pullbacks, then I need to go in with lighter contracts. Now, I'm going in with 40 is what I've been going in with. Well, I'm going to do like 10 or 15. I'm already good on the day. I don't want to lose back a lot of that capital I've already locked in. Okay, capital preservation. I already made capital on the day, not looking to give anything back. So right now, we'll see what happens. I was about taken out of both on these deeper pullbacks. But if you look, again, they're turning around where the bodies of these candles are, is what they're doing. Sell signals, great. I love seeing that we're possibly getting sell signals on the two. Let's keep these running. Old Henry Hub down there is up 60 bucks. And again, I went in with it light. Let's go see. I'm not gonna write these down. I don't want to take the time right now since I'm still trading. So we got, this is from this morning, where it started closing out NQ. So we got 345 on NQ, ES 750, ES another 93.75, NQ another 1102.50. That was that where I closed off half the 10. Remember, I closed out 30. Where's it at? Closed out 30 NQ, placed 40, closed out 30 at 345. So locked in my 345 because again, I'm looking for 5,000 a day. So if I can take, up to 10 trades and make 500 on each trade, that's my 5,000 a day. I really don't have to because of the way I'm trading with the runners. So putting 40 on, locked in 345 on NQ. Then I closed at 1102. So right there was 1,447. Almost 1,500 on one trade. And then NQ closed out 3 units. Remember, I closed out 3 more of those 30 and just have 2 left. And we locked in 1,351 on that other NQ 3 lot close. So that's where I am on the day. Still on ES, I chose to, because remember ES was up 1,000 or more than that. And I chose to leave the entire 5 on, where NQ I closed out 3. So we'll look at that at the end of the day. Would it have been better for me just to close out? Or as ES and NQ are dropping now, if they get back to that lows, should I close out 3 of those contracts that are on? We'll get ready. So we need to get 3 in the hole ready. Now at this point, again, if you guys are using the hotkeys, you can use the hotkey for buying and selling on this. All right, let me run the dog out real quick. I'm just going to let her out the door. If I can find it here. All right. Still not much on Henry Hub here, 160. I need it to break the high. So back on gas here, lower left side. Looking for it to break that high. If it breaks the high, so again, took the buy signal on gas, hasn't really done much. It's moved up, kind of stalled out. I'm keeping that on a 3-minute, not getting aggressive on that. Platinum, I never did take a sell. I don't know if anyone did take that, but missed the entry on it, so I'm not really looking to get in that today. Don't really need to. So we're still looking for these pushes, still looking for, you know, ES and Nasdaq to actually break. So I'm holding with the higher time frame. Now I've got the indicators on these are set to 5-minute. This one is. The other one should not be. Let me check and make sure. No, they are. Right now they're set on 5, 15, and 60. I thought I'd change these though. I must have picked the wrong one too. Set them. When I went last night, the last couple nights, and was scalping, I dropped the 60 off there. So they're a little tighter now. I don't have the 4-hour on there. You know, as we're looking to day trade, I'm going to be in and out of most of these. I'm already closed off some. So if they happen to ride over a couple days, that's fine. All right, so right now they're hitting those lows or near the lows. So we'll look to see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. So again, if they break the lows and push, then I'm just going to manage the stop. So let's go to Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin right now. So I got in, and where did I get in? This was Monday night, last night. So there's where I got into the trade with 30. I've just been moving the stop down. So right now, since Bitcoin has dropped below this 4-hour support resistance level, I need to look at moving my stop. Basically, I'm looking at, you know, this low in here. Let me turn the magnet off. So I'm looking at this low in here and not wanting that tool, sorry. So as you can see, if I use this right here, that low, and go up above, say, the inside bottom, that's the inside bottom. So the inside of this swing is called the inside bottom, and go up there. Well, if I look to place my stop up above that inside bottom, if I shift this to the right, I might as well come up above this plateau area right here and move my stop. So I'm not moving my stop very aggressive on it. Okay, I don't want to. So this has been one I was writing. I know I posted out in the Discord. I'm not going to go out and look right now. But I think when I first posted in Discord, it was up about 3K. Then this morning when I looked, it was up about 5,500 or something. It was up over 5. And right now we're up over 8 on it. So do I want to, since it's finally below this 4-hour time frame, I could get aggressive and say, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's move our stop there. Because right now it's up almost 9K. So if I move my stop clear down here, you know, about here's halfway. About in there is 50%. You know, that's about halfway between our order and current price. So I could move my stop there and lock in 4,500. So that would be around $4,500 a day on Bitcoin for placing it last night, and just I set and forget, you know, and then just woke up on it. I was already in a profitable position last night though, and it was on a double bounce is where it was at. Or do I want to do this and move my stop here? You know, a little more aggressive, but say, you know what? I want to lock in more than that 4,500. Let's lock in 3/4, because where the stop is right here, the stop marker, that's about 3/4. It looks like it's a little more. 3/4 may be about here. I'm not going to measure it out, guys. I don't sit there and come in with the measurement tool and measure the whole move and measure, you know, all that. So I could come in. So my safer play would be right here, you know, above the inside bottom. An even safer play is to move it here. A safer play still is where I have my stop now. So I have to decide, where am I going to do that? Where do I want to move this thing? How much do I want to lock in right here and now, today? And if it keeps going, then that's fine. I'm still in it. However, I don't want to let it pull back. I really am not impressed, right, with letting this pull all the way back to where the stop is. Let's put it that way. You know, I'm down, my stop's down, what, maybe a third of the way? Quarter to a third. My stop's a quarter to a third down. I'd say about a quarter. I'm really not impressed with locking in, you know, it's up almost 10K. I'm really not impressed right now with locking in 2,500. That, to me, wouldn't you rather lock in, you know, right here? Lock in 5K, or come down here and lock in 7,500. Okay, that's if I want to move my stop on the hold trade. The other options I have are putting my stop up here, or leaving my stop where it is and closing out 25 contracts right here and now. So if I close out 25 contracts, I'm locking in the bulk of my trade, the bulk of this 9K. So let's go ahead and do it. And then I'm going to leave my stop where it is. I'm going to leave my stop in what I consider a safe place. And then if it continues to push down, I'm in, but I'm going to let it do its thing. Who knows what it'll do, guys? It could come back and test this and then, you know, come back in here and then shoot through the low. I don't know. But I'd rather be in it than try and get back in it. And it could come back and stop me out, but I'm okay with that. So it's up 9K. Let's go ahead and hit buy, and that's going to close out 3/4 of the trade on Bitcoin. That's a lot of profit, you know, just to let it sit and dwindle back down. Again, I'm here to make money on the day, okay? I'm not here to make money on the day and then to give it all back. That is not why we're sitting here. We need a paycheck. I need a paycheck. So that's 7,400 on Bitcoin that we just locked in. Great trade. Still a great trade with the runners. Don't know what it'll do. I'll take the marker off there. Who knows what crazy moves it's going to have after, I closed out something. But I did what I came to do. I came to get into trades, and I came to close out and take profit. So, done. So with 7,400 on Bitcoin, I know I took that last night. That's not really part of our morning trade, but I did take it last night. So even if I don't count that, Nasdaq 1351, and then closed out 1,100 on Nasdaq. These are all part of that first trade. 93 on ES, 750 on ES, 345 on the first close partial of Nasdaq. So we're sitting good on the day. Not that's 1350, 11, 1400, 1500, 15. So there's two. We're about 2,700, so not quite 5K yet. If I don't count Bitcoin. And old Hub's given back 460 so far. So this hasn't panned out at all. And you can always decide to bail. I did not. So we had a buy signal. I'm trusting in the signals. I don't like that the 1 hour it went green, and then they both went back red on this pullback. So this might be a losing trade off that. And that's why, I went in light on gas. Went in with 20 instead of 40. Has anybody got any questions? So we're sitting with another 2K. What did I say? Third. I'm going to add these up, I think, because I'm adding my head, and that doesn't go well. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody that I'm adding my head, and it doesn't go well. So, John, I do like seeing if I can draw a retracement line on a pullback, like on ES and NASDAQ. So I like drawing a retracement line as they pull back and then looking for those retracement lines to break. A lot of times you cannot do it on a 3-minute chart. A lot of times you do have to drop down. So here's NASDAQ. Here's a pullback. Okay, it broke this trend line, pulled back some, retraced back some. I would draw a retracement line up on these pullback candles. Okay, and this is actually a really good example. So this is our traditional trading. This has nothing to do with trade signals. This has nothing to do with the signals down here, giving us a sell signal. It has everything to do with highs and lows and pullbacks or retracements. So as you get a pullback, if I put the chart on a 3-minute time frame, see how this pullback right here is one candle? Okay, it's a pullback, one candle. You get a red candle. Okay, you have to say to yourself, if you're on a 3-minute time frame, okay, it's pulled back to this price level, gave me a red candle, I'm getting in. And this red candle here is a candle pattern, okay? See the long wick on the top? So the bullish side of the market, created this green candle, pushed up. It also pushed up here on this next candle. However, the sellers were pretty much in control on this candle. So we're looking at the action between the buyers and sellers. So on a 3-minute candle, the sellers were in control here, okay? If I take off my crosshairs here, let me take those off. So on this one candle here, again, the bulls kept pushing the price up, but the sellers gained control and pushed it down and even down further. Looking at this candle here, The bullish side of the market pushed up, but the sellers still in control. They pushed it back down. They even pushed it lower. Okay? And we had a close past this one. So sellers still in control. This candle, definite sellers control. Okay, it pushed up a little bit, but we definitely have sellers in control. A little bit of indecision as you get wicks back and forth on high wicks both. So you really don't want to see the high wicks on both ends because that's pretty much an indecision candle. This is pretty much still indecision. The buyers are pushing up, however, the sellers are pushing down. But we're seeing sellers in control, which is what I want to see, right? I'm in short. The signals down here say sell, sell. So we want to see sellers in control. I would look for a pullback. And since everything's already red, you're not going to get a sell signal until they turn green. This first one turns green again and then comes back red like we're getting now. We have to wait for this candle to close. We got like 2.5 minutes. So we don't know what this candle's going to close as. That's why it's popping back and forth. It may wick me out. My stop's pretty tight. So I could totally see it wicking me out only to go short. So back to the pullbacks. Again, on a 3-minute, it's a 1 candle. We'll go down to a 1-minute. On a 1-minute, it's several candles pulling back. That's where you're going to come in, draw your retracement line, okay, off either these wicks, or again, you can choose to keep the wicks off because it is a 1-minute time frame. It's up to you whether you do wicks on or wicks off. Sounds like Karate Kid. For those that know about the Karate Kid movie. Wicks on, wicks off. So as we draw that retracement line, right, it's pulling up the retracement line. You look for a break and a test of that retracement line. Look for a break of that, retracement line, pull back to test it, test of the highs. So in here, we actually got a sell signal right, after that break. So what I do like is that I will tell you this. As you watch these time and time again, you will see that when these sell signals come up, and it's going to change if I drop to a 1, but you will see a lot of times that they will happen after a pullback. So after a retracement line's broken, okay? And then we, of course, would have one over here as this mess kind of started. And again, it's up to you whether you choose the wicks. And you're going to be drawing it as in the heat of the battle. I mean, you had a wick down. It pulled up, green candle wicking up. So the bullish side of the market trying to push up, the sellers still in control. Well, that created this candle. And then at that point, you're looking going, okay, it's having problems. It's having issues. It pulled down here to this previous low and it is not wanting to get down there. And then, of course, we get a pullback. So it gives you another opportunity. We haven't had a signal yet, which I think if I go back to a 3, we're getting one or trying to. So you could sell in there and just know that right now it's bouncing sideways. Okay? So I would go in lighter on my trade because this thing could actually pull up into here. Okay? That could be part of this retracement. Right now it's pulled back some and it's sideways. It could go all the way back up here. So if I was going to short right now on any of these, it would be lighter contracts. It would just be lighter. And we got to look at time of day. Time of day is 10:30. We're an hour after the stock market opened. And it's the same with NQ, what it's doing right now. And I've got my stops kind of tight. So I might get stopped out on both these. Now the Bitcoin we've left out. I'm trying to decide now, old Henry over here, gas. So we've got kind of a wedge pattern forming is what we got. I'd have to move the chart over here so I can drag this puppy out there and kind of drag it out to make sure that it's covering those 2 wicks. So make sure it's covering the wick here. Make sure it's covering the wick down here, which I'm not quite. So it's up to you how you draw these. You can use this tool, the triangle tool. You can come in and use your trend line tool and mark a line up and then mark a line down. You can color them whatever. If you want to mark it so it's more of a triangle, you can color it whatever you want. I mean, if you just want to color it something. So something like that, you're marking the wicks here. I am on a 3 minute, so I'm going to mark the wicks up, down, and then, like I said, come in with your triangle tool. You don't have to use your triangle tool. You can see it's a pendant forming, flag formation. Okay, I just kind of like to draw those so people can actually see what I'm thinking. Always pop your triangle to the back. I always like to drag mine. This is just me. I do like to take my triangle and I just like to drag it like that. I like that pendant look on my charts. How's that? So that's where we're at right now on gas. So it failed to break this high, you know, so that's where I got in on this buy signal. Good entry, I feel. The 4 hour, you know, the 1 hour down here is still green. Everything else green. I bought and it went up. It just failed to break failed to get all the way to the high. It turned at the inside of the high, this underside. So that would be our inside top. You have an inside top and an inside bottom. So that's the inside top. And if we look at where it pulled down here, really aggressive downward. So we're seeing more aggressive downward than upward moves. So real aggressive downward move, where did it turn? Well, let's look at the inside of this swing. And if you have a trouble seeing them on the 3 minute, just dial down to 1. But that's the inside of that swing. You know, that's the inside candle. Okay? So it pretty much turned there. It went below it a little bit. It's not going to be exact. It's never exact. It's part of our technical analysis, our charting analysis. So, you know, it pulled, it's turned there. So it is making higher lows. Love that. Because my 60 minutes green. I don't like that the other two time frames are red. So I have to decide at this point, considering, you know, let's say capital preservation, I've already locked in some in my account. I'm down 320. Do I want to sit in this trade for another hour or two only to let it come hit my stop? Or do I want to close it out and just be done? Right now, I'm down 320. If you look at where the current price is, my order is over 50%, over 100% of that. So let's double that. It'd be 640, and then add some. I'd be losing about 700 or 800. Would I rather lose 300 right now and close this trade? Or potentially lose 800. That's what I have to consider on this trade. How does this fit overall in today's trading? I've done great today. I could get stopped out in ES and be happy. Now, if it moves and breaks the low later and trends without me, like after lunch, sometimes the indices will trend after lunch. They did it yesterday. So if I'm in it, and they trend short, that's great. If I get taken out and then they turn and go short, will I be upset? No. Will I be a little disappointed that I missed the move? Sure. Everybody gets disappointed they missed out on money, missed out on locking some more in. If you're not human. And I'm not a robot. I try and trade like one. But yes, I have emotions. I try not to recognize them during my trade. I try and hush my emotions while I'm trading and not let them take over. So I'm making business decisions. I'm making trade decisions based on not just my trades. You know, we get into trades. So we have entry management, getting in the trade. Well, then we have trade management. You know, that's closing off partials. You know, there's where I got in to ES and Nasdaq. So we have entry criteria. So we enter the trades. We have reasons to take them. And then we have, hang on a second. All right, sorry about that. I got to run get my wife some coffee here in a minute. I'll just break for a minute though. So again, we got entry rules. So we take our trades, we enter based on rules. We have that's our entry management. Then we have our trade management. That's going to be why we're in the trade. You know, how do we, where do we close partials? When do we close partials? How many of those partials do we close? With me putting 40 on, I close out 30. I close out 3/4 of the trade. If I go in with 20, I'm closing out 15. Okay, again, 3/4 of the trade. If I go in with 10, I'm closing out 8, 80%, instead of 7. I've done it both ways, but normally if I put on 10, it's 8. I need to make money on the day. Okay, so that's our trade management, is closing partial and moving our stop. So it's been a great day because things have pushed down in our direction. And right now, after an hour into the market, what are we seeing? Well, we've got sideways movement on both. Can we get pulled out? Oh yeah, 100% I can get pulled out of both these, only for them to bounce and continue down. I can always get back in, look for an entry. And then we have account management. So account management, our trade management plays into that, right? We're locking in profit for the day. But then part of that is look at your portfolio of trades. Yes, they're one-offs, individual trade, every one of these, you know. And then I forgot about Bitcoin. I've locked in quite a bit on Bitcoin, you know, on that drop, and I could lock in another 1,200 right now. Right now I've got about $3,000 in unrealized profit, you know, that I could close out. If you look at the bottom of the screen, I could close out, you know, every bit of that and just lock in another $3,000. Just close them all and be done. But I know things trend. I don't know if that's going to be today and the rest of the day. So I just leave my runners on. So a couple things I could do here. I could close out NQ. Do I want to close out one and leave one runner? I could lock in, you know, $400. ES, I could lock in $400. I could close out 3 and lock in over 4. So right there's another 800 on the day. Gas is finally above break even for me. I could close it out and be just done on the day. Close it out. Or I could close out, you know, 18, 19. I could leave 1 or 2 runners on. I'm trying to decide if we want to take this right here short on platinum. It's late in the day. I'm going to go super tight on the stop, and I'm going to close out accordingly. Since I got a tight stop, we'll see what happens. So I'm willing to give back some on platinum right now. Okay. Oh, I only have 4 on, so I'd get ready to close out 3. And I don't know if this comes. I took it, and now we're getting a sell trying to pop. So out of NQ, out of ES. Now they could still pull back to these other outer trend lines and bounce. So I'd have to look for another entry. But again, look at the whole thing as a whole, and that's going to be your portfolio for the day. This is my portfolio. This is what I'm holding for the day. Now, I don't know if they'll go and we'll hold the whole thing. I'm giving back some here as it pulls back some on platinum. So I took a risk, light risk, I feel, on platinum, because I've been trading 10 to 15 contracts. And the other day I actually traded 25. But I'm waiting on those solid setups. So again, on gas, do I want to just say, you know what? Because here's the thing. If you look at gas, I got into the trade, and look at what it's done since. So again, I took this buy. It went up, failed to even come up past this inside bottom here, or inside top, sorry. Failed to even get up to the high. Pull back down. Failed to get down through this low, which is great since I'm in long. We got another buy signal. So I'm going to hold, but I need to see what it does here. Is it going to go up and finally break this right here? Because right now it looks like it's turning at this inside of this swing. So swing up, swing back, the inside of that area. So it looks like it's trying to stall out here at this level. Or it is stalled right now. So is it going to pop and break that? If it does, it still has to get through this high. So I have to decide, you know, it was up 60. Do I just want to close the whole thing? You know, do I want to close out like 18? I went the wrong way, didn't I? Close out 18, let 2 go in case it, you know, moves. Because I don't know what it's going to do the rest. It could turn and go short. So at this point right now today, I don't want to take a bigger loss. And I know I took a chance on platinum, and I'm going to look and see where that is right now. But I think what I'm going to do on this one is it's having a problem. Serious problem with gas breaking the highs. Does that mean it's not going to break this high and break this high? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm not saying it won't. I have to look at what I'm seeing. I'm not, you know, it could blast through. You know, it could pull up here, come back down, test that level, and then go through, you know, come back and test it and just keep going. It could go short. I have to look at what I'm seeing right now. And what I'm seeing right now is it's failing to break that high. It's just not doing it aggressively. I've already held the trade since 9:45. So I've been in this trade for an hour with no results. Absolutely no results. So we're going to sell off 18. We're taking a small loss of 18. Really? So I closed out 18 contracts at $18 loss. So not bad. So again, we're preserving what we have at risk. Now, I could move my stop up kind of aggressive, you know, off one of these lows. You know, looking at the low swing here, you know, this swing down and then right in here and say, okay, I want to be kind of aggressive with that. That's what I'm willing to risk. That's it. I don't want to risk any more than that. I've already sat in the trade for an hour and it's gone absolutely nowhere. And it looks like I got stopped out of Bitcoin on the, or sorry, platinum on the bigger pullback. So I lost 420 on platinum. So I'm not going to mess with that again. So I had a super tight stop. So again, it pulled, it was pulling back, got in on the break here, pull back, and it just pulled back a little tighter. I had my stop in here. So I did not have a loose stop. I just didn't want to lose back $1,000 on it. Just wasn't looking to do that. So I'm okay with the 420 stop. And then, of course, we're going to get sell signals. So it looks like we're actually getting entry signals or got entry signals on NQ. So just be careful. I got to go get her a coffee. I'm going to leave my charts run right now, and I'll be right back. But be careful getting in these because we are getting sell signals. So we got a sell signal, and it may only get, you know, right now, this wick actually tested the inside of this swing, which again was over here too. If you look back over here, the inside of this swing is that candle right there. That's what it's tapped. So I'm not saying it won't go below that, but always be ready for the turn. Just be ready and know that it could turn on you. So I'll switch this back and leave these on, and I'll be right back. I gotta go get her some. She's still down with her back, so we'll go get her some coffee. coffee. I'll be right back. And then, of course, Bitcoin, we're leaving it. So right now, the only thing I'm in, the only two, because again, if I was going to short these, I just have to be careful on ES and Nasdaq. Couple things. One, they may not pull down even to these lows that are marked. And then two, time of day. You know, time of day. We're getting up toward that 11 a.m. So we're already an hour and 15 minutes in the market. So, of course, Bitcoin, I'm going to leave it alone. Hopefully we'll stay on that. And then old Nat Gas over here, I'm completely ready to lose on that. But I'm really happy with where I'm at on Nat Gas. So, again, I put on 20. I felt it was a little riskier. Also, I was looking at preservation of the capital I've already locked in on the day. Okay. And part of that was because I was looking for a signal in platinum. Okay. And then took the signal in platinum. So again, on Nat Gas, was able to take that 20 contracts, sell off 18, and only an $18 loss, and then will move my stop to where it is and willing to take that loss against seeing where it goes, because I don't know if it'll break through those and pop. We'll see what happens. Looks like it's trying. You know, it's trying to break out of that pendant formation. So we'll see where this candle closes. Really what I'd like to do is see it, you know, break out, come back and test that top side of that. You know, maybe test up here, come back and test the top side of the pendant, and then would love to see it go on. Right now, it's just trying to pop straight out. So we'll see. It may close above. So am I sad that I closed out 18? You know, because right now I've got 2 on at 52. I had 20 on. I would be up 480, 460 on Nat Gas. So am I sad? No. Am I a little disappointed? Sure. But it just wasn't ready to break till now. And I'd sat in it for an hour already. So for me, that was part of why I closed out partial. All right, so I'll be back here in a minute. Oh, sorry, guys. All right, hopefully you didn't hear me clear my throat. I don't know if the mic was on, probably. All right, so I got to quit here at about quarter after. Wife's got a telehealth thing on her back, so good on the day, or great on the day, actually. I haven't totaled it all up. The 2 units. Okay, so on the runners on NQ and ES. So I had 5 runners still on ES. Remember, I chose not to close 3 of the 5 on ES. So had 5 runners on ES, 5 runners on NQ. So I placed the trade with 40 each, closed 30, my closed partial. And then as it went, so we had 10 runners. As it went down, closed 5 runners on each, locking in more. And then as it went further, I closed out 3 runners on Nasdaq and chose to leave all 5 on ES. So when those runners were pulled back, and as you look, ES just went and barely touched that low and pulled back. So again, on those signals, just be very aware of where your lows and highs are, because they may not get broken. Like right now, if you would have taken the sell on ES as it approached that low, you have to consider closing partial. Because as in this trade right here, if you would have closed out partial down here, okay, and you could leave your stop where it was, like above this high, you'd still be in with some runners. As it pulls back, you draw that retracement line, you can add back in on the pullback. Take the profits you've locked in on partial, and then, so say you put on just 4 contracts. You put on 4, it went down, you closed out 3. Leave your stop where it is, above this high. It pulls back. On that pullback, throw on another 4. It goes down, close out 3. Now you have 1 runner each trade, okay? 1 runner on each one. And then it pulls back, throw on 4, and as it pushes down, close out 3. Now you have 3 runners on. So each one of these pullbacks, you're getting into a multiple trades. You're closing partial to help make your daily goal. You're leaving a runner on each time. Now you have 3 runners stacked for when it breaks. So if you took each one of these trades, sell signal there, you took it. You'd put 4 on, closed out 3, it pulls back. You get another sell signal. You closed out 3, it pulls back. You'd have like 1 runner each, 1 contract each. Now you have 3 runners on. If this gets down and you close out. So then if it pulls back, guess what you do? You put another 4 on. It goes down, you close out 3. Then you have multiple runners on, 1 from each trade. So something as simple as that. Or putting on 2 contracts, closing out 1 each time and leaving a runner go. So then if it just breaks and runs, it just flies short, you're in it. Okay, because I know everybody's seen that before. But back to ES and Nasdaq. So ES on the 5 contracts that were running, that locked in another 768. And on Nasdaq, 728. And then, of course, we had the platinum negative trade. So right now, the only negative trade for me on the day is Nasdaq. Or not Nasdaq, sorry, platinum. So I'm going to kind of total these up. Let me get rid of those. So NQ, we had 345. That was the initial. Let's see here. And then we had 750 ES. Little $93.75. If it's over 50, I round it up. If it's 50 and under, I round down. So we'll call that 94 on ES. 1,102.50, so we make that 1,102. That's on Nasdaq. Then 1,351 on Nasdaq. That was on closing the 3. So again, on Nasdaq, the initial move down, closing partial at $345. Then that was closing 30 of the 40, closing 5 of the 10 at 1102, and then closing 3 of the last 5 contracts at 1351. And then the closeout on those 3, or the last 2 was 728. So let's see where we're at. Did I get the 1351? Yes. I'll put Bitcoin in, but again, I'm not counting that in this morning's trades. I placed it last night. I know when I placed it, so I'm not really going to count that for you guys in here. See, now we've gotten our, and since it's 11, I've had these fall off. Let me put those back on. So that sell signal, see how you'd want to leave one on? So we've had that push on both ES and Nasdaq. So that's why you got to leave the runners on, or you'll miss these extra pushes. That's why I like leaving them on. All right, let me get back. So they're 1351, 7,400 on Bitcoin. ES, the last 5 closed at 768.75, so we're going to call that 769. And then 728 even on Nasdaq. And then we had a platinum minus 420. So I took a chance on platinum. Didn't make it. And then on gas so far. So on nat gas, we have a negative 18. And then whatever we get the rest of the day on the runner. And I don't care if I take a negative on that. So, again, we've had the pushes on ES, Nasdaq. So great day on them. Another push on Bitcoin. You know, another push, or another pullback. Another little push. Right now it's fighting with the 4-hour support and resistance level. And if you look at ES, both ES and Nasdaq, remember, they were screaming through a 4-hour level. So if you look at both of those, look at where they're at against the 4-hour time frame. So on both ES and Nasdaq, they actually both pushed through 4-hour zones. These yellow zones are off the 4-hour chart. That was posted on Sunday, so a couple days ago. So they've accomplished their goal of pulling down to those targets, you know, pulling down to those zones. And they've actually broke through. That's why you have to leave runners on. Never assume something will not break a level. That's how you get out of trades and take losing trades. I can guarantee you that if people have like this 4-hour zone marked, a lot of people thought this was a bounce to go long and would have taken that trade only to got stopped out, okay? By marking your zones, but also watching this bottom indicator, having them tied into the higher time frames, we know that we're going to hold. We're holding through. I'm holding through the whole mess. I held through all that. I didn't assume right here it was going to bounce and go long, okay? The indicator's telling me to hold my trade. I'm going to hold the trade. Only when everything starts going green do I want to consider possibly closing out, okay? But ultimately, the higher time frame you're trading with to hold your trade. So if you look at ES, it pulled to the bottom of the 4-hour zone, bounced back, finally broke it. It's just been testing that zone multiple times. Now we've had another push, another extension. Now we have another low to break on both ES and Nasdaq. So right now they're pulling back up to the one they just broke. We'll see how it holds up. I'd love to see them both bounce. I'm not in them. I'd still like to see them bounce for whoever is in them. I don't know who's in them. I'd love to see them bounce for whoever's in them to hold that short, because 3 times right here, here, and here, it came to really 4. It hit there, pulled back, and hit it again. So it slammed against that low, this low here. It slammed against it 3 other times, 1, 2, and 3, and then finally just closed on the other side of it. It finally gave way. Okay, the sellers finally won out on that battle, this price point, and then it pushed further. So not sure if it's going to continue, but lovely move where it broke, it's pulled back to test. Let me total these up. We'll see where we're at here. Might have to put my light on at least. Oh, those are old trades I closed. And I have to look because, yeah, I'm up 6,800 on the Canadian dollar. So we had a lot of Canadian news today. And I did get in on that. And I need to close some partial. Reprice. Let me close out this other trade. I don't look, the Forex trades, I'll place them, and I don't look for a while. So I placed a trade this morning on 40 contracts on the Canadian dollar, and it's done nothing but, of course, move up. That was off of, I'm moving my stop. Let me move my stop. I'm going to move my stop kind of aggressive off low. I'll post the the images. They might not go on here soon because I got to get on this telehealth thing with her. So I'll try and post them before I leave the house at 12:30. So far, again, I moved stop. It's up 7K. And so I'm cropping those two images on it. Again, this was on the Canadian dollar. It's in a larger account. So I look for 5 to 10,000 on this. If I'm not making 5 to 10,000, and this is a day on this one, per trade, because I don't get in it every day. So I guess I need to say per trade. So I look for them to get to 10K, and it might do that, but it's at 7,000 right now. So I think what I want to do is, whoa, I don't want to accidentally place another trade. So I'm going to close off 30 on this. So again, Canadian dollar, US pair. I just closed 30. So I'll post the images. So that locked in $5,238.75. So I will post these out. I don't have the trading platform. It's on my laptop and my phone. I don't have it on this new machine. And I don't know why, because I bought this last year in like October. It has these same indicators on it, on the MetaTrader platform, because that's when I started using them. So right now on that Canadian dollar, again, put on 40 contracts. It was up 7K, locked in almost 5,238, and still have 1,500 writing, 10 contracts writing, and my stop is moved. My stop is moved to about 3/4 of the move. A little over that. It looks like it's around 3/4. So 1,500 I have. So 3/4 of the 1,500 is locked in with my stop. So let's just say another 1,000. We'll take a 2/3 off that. It's 1,500. So we'll take 2/3 because it's actually 75% of it's locked in with my stop. It's up 3/4. So we'll just say 1,000 instead of trying to figure it out. It might be around 1,100 or something. So with the 1,100 or 1,000 locked in, it's actually instead of 52.38, 62.38 on the day on the Canadian dollar. So good trade. I only trade that account if there's heavy news on the currency pairs. Has to be heavy on the news. Especially when I'm going in like 40 lots like that. They call them lots instead of contract. Same kind of thing. So still good on the day. Gas, I'm just going to leave that alone. We'll write it out. Oh, I was going to total these. Sorry. I knew I grabbed my phone for another reason. Let's see what we got. 345, 1102, 1351, and 728. So that's 3,526 on NQ. So I can live with that. So we got 750, 94, and 769 on ES. So 1613. Bitcoin, we had the 7,400. We're not going to count that on this today. Platinum, we lost 420. Is that all we traded? Yeah, we didn't even get in gold, or I didn't. And a minus 18. So again, I was looking for 5,000 on this account for the day. The other one I did last week, that's a $500 account. I mean, that's all I look for per day on it. This one's a $5,000 one. If I'm not, I should be able to make 5,000 a day on this account. Okay, so with just ES and Nasdaq, I'm up 5,139. Now we got to take off 5,139. Now we got to take off the 420 on platinum, and then the $18 on gas. So that leaves us 4,703. So that's without counting the 7,400 on Bitcoin. So and again, I'm not counting that because I took it last night. Okay, that's the only reason I'm not counting it. Is yes, it's a valid trade. Yes, it's money that's locked in. You know, I closed out partial. We got 7,400, and still riding. Right now, I'm up 1,300 on the runners. We'll let that go. We'll let Bitcoin go. I can hold through. So we're going to let that go and hope it builds from here. Hope it keeps going down. But I'm not going to count that trade, the 7,400, because I did place it last night. It's not a part of my morning trade. Okay. So not counting the 7,400, I got 4,701 on the day. Again, took a chance on platinum. It would have panned out because I took, if you look at platinum, I took this sell signal in here. There's some extra scalps. That's the wrong trade. Platinum took this sell signal in here only to get wicked out because I had my stop too tight. So if I would have popped my stop up here and had my stop up in that level, then I would have stayed in. You know, there's another sell, there's another sell, and it finally popped. So I would have been able to close out partial on it as it went back to this previous low, but overall it just didn't get there. So when I got in, it pulled back. I had my stop too tight. So that being said, that could have been a winning trade if I would have just not put my stop where I did, but I wanted a tight stop. I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to, if it would have pulled back deeper, if I had my stop up here and it would have pulled deeper, I would have lost about 1,000. And I just wasn't willing to put up 1,000 on that trade. So that's why I went with the tighter stop, got stopped out, okay with that. So 4,701 on the day instead of 5K, I'm okay with that. So I didn't make my goal for the day. That's okay. Is it not okay? I mean, I could have made 3K, 3,200, 2,800, 2,500, and been okay on the day. Am I wanting to see 5K a day? Yes, on this one. You know, last week when I was trading, was I wanting to see 500 per day? Yes. And about every day I got over 5. I think every day I did get over 500. One day it was like 7 something, I believe. I'd have to look back. Most days I got over 1K on the day on that account, looking for 500. And one day I got like 7 something. Still okay. Same here, looking for 5K a day on this account. Are you not okay if you fail to make the 5K and only make 2,500 or 2,000 or 1,800? I'd be okay with that. yeah, it might be a bad day. It might be things are channeling, going back and forth. Might be a choppy day. So be okay with what you've locked in. I'm okay with on gas. Again, on gas, in with 20 contracts, it finally broke this high, but didn't go up and break this high. So I'm okay with the $18 loss and whatever potential I'll lose back here, because on the day overall, it's a small portion of a small loss against the gains overall. Okay, so I'm going to kill the stream. Hope you guys enjoy tomorrow. Sorry. I'll post the totals on Discord here in a little bit, as well as the Forex trade too. It's on MT4, so it's on a different trade platform. Looks like we might be getting a bounce on our bounce we were waiting on ES and Nasdaq. So if you're wanting to get in, just be careful, because again, time of day, it's 11:16. New York traders are going to be breaking for lunch. London traders going home. So with London traders going home, we're losing half the trade force, half the traders that are out there. And this is, retail as well as, commercial traders, hedge funds. Some of them have bots or AI that trade, but some of them shut them down. So some of these hedge funds that use AI to trade actually will have someone watching that AI trade on an account. They normally set up different accounts and put a lot of amount of money in, but there is someone that monitors those trades. Okay, even though it's AI trading, there's someone on the floor that's monitoring. So they're going home for the day. So in overseas, so London, we have that market closing down, and then New York, everybody going to lunch. So just be cautious with your trading today. We may get signals. Make sure you close partial. If the market gives it to you, close it. Take some for the day. Yes, it could trend the rest of the day, so that's where our runners come into play. All right? Okay, so I'm going to kill it, and I will talk to you and see you tomorrow.